The auction ended, only the untamable alien girl remained, but one human paid. For her, Ryan Stone swirled the amber liquid in his glass, watching the underground auction through half-lit eyes. The grimy marketplace on Darren was exactly what you'd expect from the Ascend of civilized space, a collection of the galaxy's most desperate sellers and its most depraved buyers. Final lot of the day, bellowed the auctioneer, a bulbous Grayan with skin like melted candle wax, a rare specimen from the outer reaches. Ryan sighed, ready to leave. His crew of mercenaries was waiting back at the ship, and he'd only stopped by on a whim. Then they dragged her out. She had emerald green skin that seemed to shimmer even under the harsh lighting. Thick silvery hair cascaded down her back, contrasting with the torn sand colored dress they'd forced her into, but it was her eyes that caught Ryan's attention, icy blue and filled with a defiance that made something stir in his chest. A Verdante female, the auctioneer announced, rare outside their home system, young, strong, and he paused for effect. Trainable. The crowd of aliens chuckled appreciatively, but Ryan noticed how the girl's jaw clenched. She wasn't broken, not even close. A wealthy Krell merchant approached, his reptilian features twisting into what passed for a smile in his species. Let me see the merchandise, he demanded, reaching a scaled hand toward her face. What happened next sent the crowd into chaos. The girl lunged forward, her teeth sinking into the Krell's finger. There was a sickening crunch, and the merchant reeled back, screaming as a dark blood spurted from his hand. My finger. She bit off my finger. The auctioneer backhanded her hard enough to send her sprawling. Savage, he spat, then turned to the horrified crowd. My apologies, gentlemen, this one clearly needs more conditioning. She's not worth a single coin, shouted someone from the back. The auctioneer's face darkened. Perhaps you're right, maybe she'd be better entertainment in the predator pits. He snapped his fingers, and two guards moved toward her. Ryan found himself standing before he'd made a conscious decision. I'll take her, he said, his voice cutting through the commotion. The room fell silent. The auctioneer blinked, his three eyes in confusion. You what? I said, I'll take her. Ryan tossed a credit chip onto the stage. Minimum bid, right? The Grayan's face contorted with rage. He'd clearly been looking forward to watching the girl torn apart. The merchandise has proven defective. The market laws are clear. Ryan interrupted. You put her up for auction. I made a bid. No one outbid me. She's mine. The auctioneer looked like he might argue further, but market law was sacred. Even in this hellhole, breaking it would mean no one would trust him again. Fine, he spat. Take the savage. Don't come crying when she kills you in your sleep. Ryan approached the stage as the guards roughly pulled the girl to her feet. For the first time their eyes met directly. There was no gratitude there, only cold assessment. You might as well kill me now, she said, her voice surprisingly melodic despite the venom in her words. I'll never be your painted pet. Ryan couldn't help the slight smile that tugged at his lips. All I want is someone to scrub my ship. It's filthy and my crew is too lazy to do it properly. She blinked, clearly not expecting that response. Fair warning though, he continued, your attitude won't sit well with the rest of them, at least not at first. He shrugged, but given time you might find common ground. I doubt that, she replied, but some of the tension had left her shoulders. Ryan turned to the auctioneer. We done here? The Grayan thrust a control chip at him. Collar controls, shock, track, kill. Use them liberally. Ryan pocketed the chip without looking at it and gestured for the girl to follow him. As they walked through the marketplace he could feel the weight of stairs on his back. You have a name? He asked, not looking back. There was a pause before she answered. Kona Ryan Stone, captain of the Nomad. A human, she said, and he couldn't tell if it was disgust. Last I checked he stopped at a vendor and purchased a cloak, tossing it to her. Put this on. Dargan isn't known for its hospitality, especially to your kind. Kuna caught the garment but made no move to put it on. Why did you buy me? Ryan considered the question. The truth was he wasn't entirely sure himself. Yeah. Something about her defiance perhaps, or maybe he was just getting soft in his old age. Let's just say I've got a soft spot for lost causes, he finally replied. Now put on the damn cloak before someone decides to take what they think is mine. She hesitated for another moment before wrapping the cloak around her shoulders. I'm not yours, she said quietly. I'm not anyone's. Ryan nodded. Fair enough, but until we're off this rock it might be safer if others think differently. As they continued toward the spaceport, Ryan found himself wondering if he'd made a terrible mistake. His crew wasn't going to be happy about this. Hell, he wasn't sure he was happy about it either, but as he glanced at the fierce determination in Kiona's eyes he couldn't bring himself to regret his decision. Not yet anyway. This way, Ryan said, guiding Kiona through Dargan's winding marketplace. The spaceport loomed ahead, a collection of rusted landing pads and Makeshift hangers. Kiona walked beside him, her posture rigid every few steps. She glanced over her shoulder, scanning the crowd. Ryan noticed but said nothing. He'd been expecting this. When they reached a narrow alley between two vendor stalls, Kiona bolted one moment. She was beside him, the next she was sprinting away, silver hair streaming behind her like a comet's tail. Shit. Ryan muttered, breaking into a run. He weaved through startled aliens, keeping the flash of her cloak in sight. Kiona. Stop. She was faster than he'd anticipated. Her emerald skin made her easy to track in the crowd, but her agility gave her an edge as she slipped through gaps too narrow for his broader frame. The chase led them deeper into Dargon's underbelly. The marketplace's relative order gave way to cramped passages where even the dim lighting couldn't hide the desperation etched into every surface. Ryan caught a glimpse of silver disappearing around a corner. He followed only to find himself in a dead-end alley. Empty. Clever girl, he murmured, scanning the walls. A movement above caught his eye. Kiona was scaling the side of a building using protruding pipes as handholds. You're making a mistake, he called up to her. This isn't a place for someone alone. She paused, looking down at him with those ice blue eyes. I have survived worse than this cesspool, no doubt, but why struggle when you don't have to? He spread his hands. I'm offering you passage off this rock, food, safety in exchange for what? Servitude. Your bed. The bitterness in her voice was palpable. Ryan shook his head. Just help around the ship. As for my bed, he shrugged, that's not part of any deal. Something in his tone made her hesitate. In that moment of indecision, a screech echoed from the rooftop above her. A winged creature with razor-sharp talons swooped down, aiming for Kiona's exposed neck. Ryan's hand moved instantly to his holster. His blaster fired the energy bolt, striking the creature mid-dive. It fell past Kiona, landing with a wet thud at Ryan's feet. Roof scavengers, he explained, holstering his weapon. They hunt in packs. As if summoned by his words, more screeches sounded from above. Kiona glanced up, then back at Ryan with surprising grace. She pushed off from the wall, landing in a crouch beside him. Fine, she said, straightening, but this changes nothing. Ryan nodded. Let's go. Before more show up, they moved quickly through the back alleys, Ryan leading the way with confident strides. Kiona kept pace, no longer trying to escape but maintaining a wary distance. You're shooting, she said after a while. It was precise. Former Alliance military, Ryan replied. Old habits. You fought in the border wars. Ryan's jaw tightened. Among others, she studied him with new interest. Humans have a reputation for being effective in combat. Is that what they call it? A hint of bitterness crept into his voice. Most species just call us violent. Violence has its uses, Kiona said quietly. Sometimes it's the only language oppressors understand. Ryan glanced at her, surprised by the vehemence in her tone. Sounds like you speak from experience. Before she could respond, they emerged from the alley onto a broader thoroughfare leading to the spaceport. The Nomad was visible in the distance, a mid-sized cruiser with sleek lines despite the patches of mismatched hull plating. That's your ship? Kiona asked, unable to hide her surprise. Don't let the exterior fool you. She's got it where it counts. As they approached the landing pad, Ryan noticed Kiona's steps slowing. Having second thoughts, he asked, your crew? What are they like? Complicated, Ryan admitted, loyal to credits first, me second. They're not going to roll out the welcome mat because I'm Verdante, because you're an unexpected expense who can't pull her weight. Yet he paused. The Verdante thing won't help either. Kona's expression hardened. I'm used to hostility. I don't doubt it. Ryan's gaze lingered on her face longer than necessary. Despite the dirt and bruises, there was a striking beauty to her features, proud and fierce. She caught him looking and raised an eyebrow. See something interesting, Captain? The challenge in her voice sent an unexpected heat through him. Just wondering what I've gotten myself into. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. Nothing you can handle, I'm sure. The air between them seemed to charge with something neither was ready to acknowledge. Ryan cleared his throat and gestured toward the ship. After you. As they walked up the boarding ramp, Kiona's shoulder brushed against his arm. The brief contact sent a jolt through Ryan that had nothing to do with the static electricity common on Darren. Captain, a gruff voice called from inside. About damn time we were about to. The words cut off as a hulking Braxian stepped into view, his four eyes widening at the sight of Kiona. What the hell is this crew? Kiona, Ryan said, stepping forward. Our new cleaning specialist. The Braxian's upper lip curled. You bought a Verdante. Behind him, more of the crew appeared. A lanky tone engineer, a pair of Mavonian twins, and a human woman with a scar running down one cheek. None of them looked pleased. A Verdante. The human woman with the scar stepped forward, hand resting on her holstered blaster. Captain, have you lost your mind? Their kind has been nothing but trouble for Border traders stand down, Mara, Ryan ordered, his voice calm but carrying unmistakable authority. My ship, my decision, the Braxian snorted, his four eyes blinking in sequence. Your decision might get us all killed, Stone, or worse. Bro. Kiona stood her ground, chin raised despite being surrounded by hostile stares. I can pull my weight, she said, addressing the crew directly. I'm not here to cause trouble, says the Verdante. Who just bit off a Krell's finger, Mara retorted. Ryan's eyebrows shot up as he turned to Kona. News travels fast, faster than you think, came a new voice from the ship's communication system. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the cargo bay, showing a Tauren with cybernetic implants. Where is left? I should be. We've got a problem, Captain. What is it? Dex, that Krell merchant, your new friend, named names Varric Thursday, major player in the Outer Rim trade routes. The hologram expanded to show a bounty notice. He's offering 50,000 credits for the Verdante alive, preferably dead if necessary. The crew exchanged glances. And another 50 for the human scum who interfered with his purchase. Tex added. Ryan cursed under his breath. How long until this hits every bounty hunter's feed already? Has I give us an hour, maybe less, before they start showing up. The Braxian Cord stepped forward. Simple solution, we hand her over, split the bounty and move on. Not happening, Ryan said flatly. Why the hell not? Mara demanded. She's not crew, she's not even a paying passenger. Ryan's eyes narrowed. Because I said so. Anyone who doesn't like it can take their share of our last job and find another ship. The silence that followed was electric. Kiona watched the standoff with growing tension, acutely aware that her fate hung in the balance of this power struggle. Finally, one of the Mavonian twins spoke up. The captain's never steered us wrong before, he said, his voice melodic despite his reluctance. If he sees something in this Verdante, perhaps we should trust his judgment. Thank you, Taran, Ryan said. Dex, prep for immediate departure. Cord, secure the cargo. Mara, run perimeter checks. I want us off this rock in 20 minutes. The crew dispersed, still grumbling but following orders. Ryan turned to Kiona, who was watching him with a new intensity. You didn't have to do that, she said quietly. Yeah, I did. He gestured for her to follow him. Come on, you'll need quarters and a change of clothes. As they moved through the ship's corridors, Kiona took in her surroundings with keen interest. The Nomad was a patchwork of different technologies, some cutting edge, others clearly salvage, but everything was meticulously maintained. Your crew doesn't seem thrilled with your leadership style, she observed. Ryan shrugged. They'll get over it, especially once they see what you can do. And what exactly do you think I can do, Captain? He stopped at a door and pressed his palm to the scanner. That's what I'm curious to find out. The door slid open to reveal modest quarters, a bunk storage compartment, and a small personal hygiene unit. It's not much, but it's private. Kiona stepped inside, running her fingers along the edge of the bunk. Better than a cage. There are clothes in the storage unit. When you're ready, meet me on the bridge. He turned to leave but paused in the doorway. And Kiona, don't make me regret this. Their eyes met and something unspoken passed between them, a challenge and acknowledgement, perhaps even the first fragile thread of trust. I won't, she replied. 20 minutes later, the Nomad broke atmosphere, leaving Dargan behind on the bridge. Ryan watched the planet shrink in the view screen while Dex plotted a course through the nearest jump point. We've got company, Mara announced from the tactical station. 2 pursuit craft just launched from the spaceport. Ryan leaned forward. Bounty hunters already. Looks like it. Heavily armed. 2 evasive maneuvers. Taran Vaughn Mun. The defense systems. The Mavonian twins moved in perfect synchronization to their stations. The ship banked sharply, accelerating toward the jump point they're gaining. Cord growled from his position at the engineering console. Engines are at maximum, but we're still carrying too much weight from that last cargo run. We need to lighten the load, Mara suggested, throwing a pointed look toward the door where Kiona had just appeared, dressed in a fitted jumpsuit that accentuated her life form. Kiona ignored the comment and moved directly to Ryan's side. Your stabilizers are misaligned, she said without preamble. That's why you're losing acceleration. The bridge fell silent. And you know this how? Cord demanded. I can feel it in the deck vibrations. Verdante have sensitive proprioception. We can detect mechanical imbalances through touch. She turned to Ryan. Let me help. Ryan studied her for a moment and then nodded. Cord, take her to engineering. If she can fix it, do whatever she says. The Braxian looked like he wanted to argue but grudgingly gestured for Kiona to follow him. Captain, Mara protested. You're trusting our lives to a slave we picked up an hour ago. Former slave, Ryan corrected. And yes, I am. Minutes later, the ship's vibrations subtly changed. The engine's pitch deepened and their speed increased noticeably. Whatever she did, it's working, Dex reported. We've gained a 15% efficiency boost. Ryan allowed himself a small smile. Plot a course for the Helios Nebula. We'll lose them in the radiation Belt as the Nomad outpaced his pursuers and prepared to jump, Ryan felt a presence beside him. Kiona had returned to the bridge, a smudge of engine grease on her cheek. Not bad for a cleaning specialist, he said quietly, her lips curved into the first genuine smile he'd seen from her. I never said cleaning was my only skill, Captain. The look they exchanged sent a current of awareness through the bridge that had nothing to do with the ship's electrical systems. Even Mara noticed, her eyebrows rising as she glanced between them. Jump in 3, 2, 1, Dex announced. The stars stretched into lines and the Nomad vanished into hyperspace, leaving their pursuers and darkened far behind. The Helios Nebula stretched across the view screen like a luminous tapestry, swirls of crimson and gold dust illuminated by the light of dying stars. It was beautiful, deadly, in the perfect hiding place. Radiation levels are higher than expected, Dex reported, his cybernetic eye worrying as it processed data. We can survive it, but our systems are already showing strain. Ryan nodded, studying the nebula's shifting patterns. How long can we stay? 48 hours maximum. After that, the radiation will start affecting the life support systems. Should be long enough for the initial hunt to die down, Ryan decided. Set us on a minimal power configuration, essential systems only. As the crew dispersed to their stations, Ryan found Kiona still at his side, her gaze fixed on the nebula's hypnotic dance. It's beautiful, she murmured. On Verdane we have stories about places like this, cosmic gardens where the spirits of stars go to be reborn. Ryan studied her profile, struck by how the nebulous light played across her emerald skin, making it shimmer with hidden depths, poetic for a people known for their mechanical aptitude. Her lips curved slightly. We contained multitudes, Captain, just like humans. Their eyes met, and Ryan felt the same electric current from before, stronger now, harder to ignore. He cleared his throat. I should check the engine room. The radiation might be affecting the stabilizers you fixed. I'll come with you, she offered. I can feel if something's off. They walked in companionable silence through the ship's corridors. The reduced power had dimmed the lighting, casting everything in soft shadows. Occasionally their shoulders would brush each contact, sending a ripple of awareness through Ryan. In the engine room, Kiona immediately placed her palms against the main drive housing, closing her eyes in concentration. Ryan watched, fascinated by the way she seemed to commune with the machinery. There's a harmonic imbalance, she said after a moment. The radiation is causing micro fluctuations in the power grid. Ryan moved to the control panel. Can we compensate? Yes, but I'll need to adjust the frequency manually. She glanced at him. It requires a delicate touch. Something tells me you have that in abundance. Her eyes widened slightly at his tone, and a deeper emerald flush spread across her cheeks. When necessary, she replied, her voice softer than before. They worked together, making the adjustments, their hands occasionally meeting over controls. Each lingered a little longer than strictly necessary. The air between them grew thick with unspoken tension. Your crew is warming to me, Kiona said, breaking the silence. Even Mara stopped glaring when I passed her in the corridor. Ryan smiled. They respect competence. You've shown plenty of that. Is that what you respect too, Captain? Competence? The question hung between them, loaded with meaning. Ryan stepped closer, close enough to catch the subtle scent of her skin, something like cinnamon and ozone among other qualities. He admitted Kiona didn't back away, such as courage, intelligence, the inability to bite off a Krell's finger when the situation calls for it. She laughed. The sound rich and unexpected, that was impulsive. Sometimes impulses are worth following, Ryan said, his voice dropping lower. The ship suddenly lurched, throwing them against each other. Ryan's arms instinctively wrapped around Kiona to steady her. The lights flickered, then dimmed further. Captain, to the bridge. Cord's voice crackled over the comm. We've got problems. Ryan reluctantly released Kona, though his hands lingered at her waist. Duty calls on the bridge. They found the crew scrambling between stations. The view screen showed a section of the nebula rowing with energy discharges. Radiation surge, Dex explained. It's playing havoc with our systems. Navigation's down, communications are spotty, and life support is operating at 70% capacity. Can we move to a safer position? Ryan asked. Cord shook his massive head. Engines are responding, but without navigation we're flying blind. I can guide us. Kiona stepped forward. Verdante can sense energy patterns. The nebula's currents are like rivers. I can feel where they're flowing and where they're dangerous. The crew exchanged skeptical glances. It's our best option, Ryan decided. Cord, give her access to the helm. The Braxian reluctantly moved aside. Kiona took the controls, her fingers dancing across the interface with surprising confidence. The ship began to move gently at first, then with increasing purpose. There, she said after Several tense minutes. This pocket is more stable. The radiation levels are lower. Dex confirmed her assessment. She's right, we've got a 20% drop in radiation exposure. A collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge. Ryan squeezed Kiona's shoulder in silent thanks. His touch lingering. We should dock at Helio Station once we leave the nebula. Mara suggested we need supplies and the radiation damage requires parts we don't have on board. Ryan frowned. Helio Station is risky. It's a major trading hub, which means it's the last place bounty hunters would expect us to go. Mara countered. Plus my contact there can get us what we need without asking questions. After a moment's consideration, Ryan nodded. All right, we'll make a quick stop. Minimal exposure, essential supplies only. As the crew dispersed once more, Ryan found himself alone with Kona at the helm. The nebula's glow bathed them in amber light, creating an intimate bubble amid the crisis. Thank you, he said quietly, you've saved our asses twice now. Kiona's fingers brushed against his on the console. Consider it payment for my freedom. Is that how you see it? A transaction? She met his gaze, her ice blue eyes searching his. I'm not sure what I see anymore, Ryan. Everything's changed so quickly. The use of his first name rather than Captain didn't escape his notice, nor did the way her voice caressed. For what it's worth, he said, I'm glad I found you in that auction. Found me or bought me? There was no accusation in her tone, only genuine curiosity. Ryan leaned closer. Rescued you? Though I'm beginning to think it might be the other way round. The moment stretched between them, charged with possibility. Then the ship's systems beeped, breaking the spell. We should get some rest, Ryan said reluctantly. Tomorrow will be challenging. Kiona nodded, rising from the helm. At the doorway she paused and looked back at him. Your quarters are mine, Captain. The invitation was unmistakable. Ryan felt his pulse quicken. Yours are closer, he replied, his voice rough with desire. Her smile was both invitation and promise as she turned and walked away, leaving Ryan to follow, which he did without hesitation. But morning on the Nomad arrived with the artificial cycle of lights brightening in the quarters. Ryan woke to the unfamiliar sensation of emerald skin against his own. Kona slept peacefully beside him, silver hair spread across the pillow like liquid moonlight. The night had been a revelation. Verdante intimacy rituals were both familiar and fascinatingly alien, moments of tenderness interspersed with surprising strength. They discovered each other's bodies with the wonder of explorers charting unknown territory, finding unexpected pleasure in their differences. Ryan traced a finger along the intricate patterns that appeared on Kona's skin when she was aroused, bioluminescent markings that had pulsed with increasing brightness as their passion grew. They'd faded now but remained faintly visible like a memory etched on her emerald flesh. Her eyes fluttered open, ice blue irises focusing on his face. You're staring, she murmured. Hard not to, he admitted. She stretched languidly, unself-conscious in her nudity. I didn't expect humans to be so thorough in their attentions. Ryan chuckled. Is that a complaint? Quite the opposite. Her fingers trailed down his chest. On Verdun, physical union is primarily for reproduction. Pleasure is considered a fortunate side effect. Sounds efficient. It is. She propped herself up on one elbow. But I prefer your way. The ship's comm system interrupted their moment. Captain, to the bridge. Dex announced, we're approaching Helio Station. Reality intruded like a cold shower. Ryan sighed and sat up. Duty calls. Kiona caught his wrist as he moved to rise. Ryan, what happens now between us? The vulnerability in her question caught him off guard. This fierce woman who'd bitten off a Krell's finger, who'd navigated them through a lethal nebula, now looked at him with uncertainty. We figure it out together, he said, bringing her hand to his lips, one step at a time. Her smile was worth every credit he'd spent at that auction on the bridge. The crew pretended not to notice their captain's unusually relaxed demeanor or the way Kiona stood slightly closer to him than necessary. Only Mara raised an eyebrow, a knowing smirk playing at the corner of her scarred mouth. Helio Station dead ahead, Dex reported. I'm detecting heavy traffic. Looks like a trade summit is underway. Perfect cover, Cord rumbled. We'll blend right in. Ryan frowned at the station's schematics. Maybe, but we'll need to be careful. Mara, contact your supplier. Arrange delivery to docking bay 47. It's on the station's far side away from the main concourse. Already done, Captain. Mara replied. They'll meet us in 2 hours. Good. Cord Turunvine, you'll handle the cargo transfer. Dex stays with the ship. Mara, Kiona and I will acquire the specialized parts we need. Kiona looked surprised at being included. Is that wise? I'm rather noticeable. Nothing a hooded cloak and some cosmetics won't fix, Mara suggested. I've got some skin pigment that could temporarily mask your color. Ryan nodded. Do it. I want us in and out in 3 hours max. As they prepared to dock, Kiona Pulled Ryan aside. There's something you should know about Verdante physiology, she said quietly. Bioluminescence. It's not just an arousal response. Strong emotions of any kind can trigger it. Ryan understood her concern immediately, including fear or stress. She nodded. If we encounter trouble, I might literally start glowing. Then we'll make sure that doesn't happen. He squeezed her hand reassuringly. Stay close to me. Helio Station was a sprawling complex of interconnected modules, each bustling with diverse life forms from across the sector. Disguised with Mara's pigments and a hooded cloak, Kiona blended in reasonably well, though she kept her head down as they navigated the crowded corridors. Mara's contact is in the tech district, Ryan murmured, guiding them through a marketplace teeming with traders 2 levels down. As they passed a news terminal, a familiar face appeared on the screen. The Krell merchant Varric. Thursday is reptilian. Features twisted in rage as he announced an increased bounty for the capture of the Verdante thief and her human accomplice. Thief? Kiona whispered. I stole nothing from him except his dignity and a finger, Mara added dryly. Ryan hushed them both as a pair of station security officers passed nearby. Once the officers were out of earshot, he led them toward a service elevator. Something's not right, he said. That bounty is excessive for a simple assault. Is acting like you stole the family jewels. Verdante are known for our technological innovations, Kiona replied thoughtfully. Perhaps he believes I possess knowledge worth more than my market value as a slave. The elevator doors opened to reveal the tech district, a labyrinth of shops selling everything from standard ship components to experimental prototypes. Mara led them to a nondescript storefront with shuttered windows. Wait here, she instructed, disappearing inside. Left alone with Kiona, Ryan noticed her fidgeting with the edge of her cloak. You okay? This place, it reminds me of home, she admitted. Before the raids, Ryan wanted to ask more, but Mara emerged from the shop followed by a thin Tauren carrying a case. Got everything we need, she announced. Let's head back. They were halfway to the elevator when Ryan spotted them, 3 figures moving with too much purpose through the crowd. Bounty hunters, their eyes scanning faces with predatory focus. Change of plans, he murmured. We're taking the long way back. He steered them into a side passage, his hand resting protectively at the small of Kona's back. The passage opened into a quieter section of the station, a residential area with fewer people there. Following, Mara warned, glancing back. Ryan cursed under his breath. Split up, Mara. Take the parts back to the ship, Kiona, and I will create a diversion. Mara looked like she wanted to argue but nodded sharply. Don't get killed, paperworks. As she disappeared around a corner, Ryan pulled Kiona into an alcove. We need to blend in, he said. URG urgently. Act like we